Yo, what's up? It's Nick here with Living Rich, and I'm here today, lovely Encinitas, California, at my house, and there is a storm coming. If you look out, the wind is blowing. Hasn't started raining yet, but it's coming. So I wanted to take this opportunity, make a video, and kind of share with you just like how I view storms, and not only in like the physical kind of, rain and stuff, but also in like life in general, and in where, like, whether it's like storms in your personal life or storms in your relationships or at work or just wherever, there's always an amount of chaos and uncertainty, and rain and wind and like inconvenience and like drastic change that comes through your life no matter who you are. And these moments, they don't limit you as much as people think. They are more tests of who you are as a person and trials to help you deal with stuff, and help you learn how to dance. Basically, that's the way I like to think of it. Dancing with the chaos and uncertainty and movement. If there weren't any storms in the world, there wouldn't be any waves to surf. If there weren't any storms or rain, there wouldn't be any green grass, any food. And so these moments of like big upheaval are just, they're so integral to our lives. Yet at the same time, we fear them and we dread over them. And in doing so, oftentimes we miss the opportunities that are presented during them, and we think that we can only grow, do what we want, and really be ourselves during times where everything is just like so perfect, everything is in its own little box and in its own little perfect way that we've controlled, that we made. But that is not reality. That's not nature. That's not how the universe works. A lot of times the opposition or the challenges that we are confronted with are the exact things that make us grow, make us go out and take new chances. And it is the essence, basically, of success to be able to have what you want to do, or have your goal, your vision, and then proceed to experience this and persevere, adjust, steer through the storm, and learn how to manage yourself and the world around you in times of turbulence. So just like no airplane pilot's training would be complete if he did not have the proper instruction on how to fly through a turbulence, clouds, storms, there wouldn't be like a proper business person or a proper relationship if it didn't go through these hard times. It just wouldn't be right. Or it would be really boring and you wouldn't appreciate what you have, because our mind gets so attuned and used to what we always have, therefore making it almost blind to us. So these storms provide a lot of very nourishing, I like nourishing, that's a good word, a lot of very nourishing experiences. And that's what I want to talk about today, because I felt like it's impacted me deeply. And although I'm not perfect as a navigator on the storms of life, I've gone through some stuff, and the way I've approached it, or the way I've steered through it, or kind of woken up to steering through it during the storms, has greatly benefited me, and I just like to share it with you, and hopefully you can take some value from this, and hopefully you'll enjoy this video with a nice stormy background. So back in 2009, I was about 20, maybe 19, 20 years old. And all of a sudden, I'd gone through some stuff with my family. I was in and out of my house, lived on my own for a little bit, then had to move back in for financial stuff, moved out again, moved back in. And throughout all this, the financial crisis was just getting underway. And then like all that stress was happening, then like on the news, the all the world is like going, oh my God, stuff's falling apart. And I ended up, going through a really intense drug trip where I, broke my teeth out and I had to go to the hospital. I didn't have to go to the hospital, but an ambulance came and picked me up and I was like, yeah, I'll go. And I basically just stayed there. But like that, I accumulated debt from that. And so like all this stuff was happening. Plus the job I was working at was I was a pedicab driver, which was just like, it's just like so physically draining. And it's like, it felt like I was never at rest or at ease. And like the amount of uncertainty of whether I'll make money or not make money was just too much to, at the time, at my maturity level to like take. So what I ended up doing was, because of all these pressures, because I didn't like school or like anything I was working on, there was one thing that I wanted to do, and that was, I wanted to go to Europe and go live in Europe. And so like during all this commotion, I focused on that. I was like, well, okay, if I'm gonna have trouble making money because the financial economy is rough, if I don't like where I'm living, if I'm young and I'm still capable of doing things, what move am I going to make? And I settled on making the move to go to Europe. So I leveraged all the rest of the credit I had, put like a plane ticket on a credit card, and I think I had like 200 euros or $200, something like that. My mom might have gave me like 100 euros or something, or and got me a place to stay for a week once I got out there. I went, I did that, I was all bright and shiny, and then I ended up living in Europe for 3 years, going through different living situations, being homeless for a little bit, not wanting to work, and kind of having to resolve my own inner resistances to making stuff happen. And after 3 years and moving around to 3 different countries, I came out of it on the other side. I was financially stable and independent for like the first time really in my life. And I came back to the US and the storm had abated. I lived in a few different places, and basically because of that storm, I gained a whole other experience that I would have missed out on or not had as much of if I would have been in the US, and everything would have been fine and dandy, and I would not have been challenged. I would have probably stayed here. I would have probably, kids by now, which is not, a bad thing, but I would not have taken that opportunity to go branch out and do something different, although I did want to do it. The catalyst for me to do it was this storm. So when it comes to facing these challenges, I guess the only advice that I could give you is to, one, accept that they're hard, and accept that, it's going to be a total change of your situation. And the more stuff you can kind of accept, the better you're going to be able to work with it. And 2, work is crucial during these periods in order to take advantage of these opportunities. I feel like too many people use like a storm, whether in life or here, as an excuse to kind of shut down, go within themselves, which is okay, but it's also a great opportunity, and you can get a lot of, you know, interesting experience out of it that you wouldn't otherwise have. Just like in Portland, for example, like it rains all the time. What's up, Al? But they go outside, they exercise, they do whatever in the rain. And in the same way, I think that's almost like my life motto is like whatever's happening, you got to be good at, you know, being you, whether it's in the good times or the rough times, because the rough times define you as much as the good times, if not more. And so while you're going through a rough time, which we all can be or maybe are right now, working is super crucial. If you don't hustle, if you don't put in the time, then it's not going to happen. Then like it's not going to happen for you. So, for example, back a few months ago, I had 2 really good jobs, restaurant jobs. I had some bougie ass restaurants, and one after another, I lost both of them for various different reasons. You know, I was maybe a little out of tune, moving a little quickly. Anyways, how I reacted to it, I was bummed as fuck. I was so, you know, kind of like it's like when you lose a job like that, you're kind of away from your money, you're away from the family you've created with the people. And then when it happens twice, you're thinking like, oh my God, like what's wrong with me? And this kind of all was going through my head, but because I had this experience before, I was able to take a step back and look at the situation rationally. I looked at my money, I was like, okay, well I'm decent right now on money, but I don't want to depend on you know, my savings that I have. So what am I going to do? I decided that I would go all out and, you know, get another job. And so despite how I was feeling, despite waking up, you know, kind of, you know, depressed on the inside, I had a really, really bad outbreak of psoriasis, and it just cooled off recently. And so like all this stuff was happening, but I was still able to like take a step back and look at what I could do and where I wanted to go in the next few months. And so I was able to methodically plan out and execute going to each restaurant after restaurant, managing my state well enough to be able to go in and present myself in a positive way. And I eventually got another job within that same, you know, couple of weeks. I hit up as many friends as I knew to like kind of help me out. And I think that is crucial too, kind of like asking for help when you need it. Like not just kind of like taking the whole brunt of the experience on your own, kind of teaming up with other people, getting advice. You know, I find people are really, really forthcoming with advice and help, especially if you're like genuine and sincere and you're a cool person. You know, they'll generally want to help you out. So I got through that and I got a job, everything stabilized out, and now it's cool. And the reason why I kind of was inspired to make this video was this current job that I'm at. I had been one shift I slept through for like an hour, and then like I'd been a half hour late just recently. And like I've worked in restaurants long enough to understand kind of like where the boundary is and get a feel for like what's happening in the manager's mind, and like where I stand and how close I am to like getting, you know, the boot. And so like I'm kind of feeling it's close, but at the same time I'm also going on a bike trip next month, and so it's not that big of a... Oh, excuse me, my phone camera ran out of battery and I had to charge it for a second. But I was saying it's not that big of a deal if I end up losing this job, because I'm planning on quitting in 2 weeks anyways, and financially I'm all set and I'm prepared. Plus I have other things that I will do in place of working, and I have a plan to supplement my income as well while I'm still here before I take my bike trip to New York. And so I think a big part of dealing with the storm is recognizing the fear that you have and using that energy instead of worrying about stuff to create contingency plans, to create ways that you can hedge your bets, so to say, or be prepared for if this does happen or when it happens, so that you can therefore be confident in yourself and be confident about, you know, where you're going no matter what happens. And it also gives you the mental forethought, thinking ahead into a positive manner of a positive outcome that could come from, you know, this experience. And I think at the end of the day, that's all that I really wanted to say, is that these storms are an opportunity for a very positive change in your lives, although they may seem dark at the time. It allows you to shine your own light into the world and make some, you know, positive choices. So at the same time, I wouldn't, you know, try to break everything in your world, try to get fired or do anything like that. I don't think you gain anything from creating negative situations, but knowing how to deal with them is crucial. So that's about my video for the day. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this lovely weather out here. I'm gonna go have some coffee, do some reading, get ready for work, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.